Let's get right to the headlines this hour. President-elect Trump returned to the stage over the weekend for a campaign-style rally and gave a preview of what to expect when he returns to the Oval Office. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles brings us the details.
President-elect Donald Trump ran on a promise to change the way Washington operates, and he may be delivering before he's even sworn in.
It's great to be here. Nice to win the election.
At a conservative event over the weekend in Arizona, the incoming commander-in-chief promising his disruptive style, like the one he displayed in the spending fight last week, will yield results.
I intend to keep those promises to the American people.
Trump's unpredictability will be put to the test, especially given his long list of priorities for the new year. He has promised to execute a mass deportation program, vowed to extend the tax cuts implemented in his first term, and with the help of his billionaire buddy Elon Musk, slash trillions of dollars from the federal budget. Promises he did not back down from this weekend, but made clear it is he, not Musk, running the show.
The new one is President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job.
Trump later joking the South African-born Musk, who helped Trump kill the original bipartisan spending deal, couldn't be president.
You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country.
And though he mostly focused on his major policy priorities Sunday, the president-elect also airing an unexpected complaint.
We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else.
Calling for the return of the Panama Canal, which was transferred in a treaty signed by both countries in the 1970s because of high shipping fees.
We will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question.
Panama's president overnight rejecting that idea, saying the, quote, sovereignty and independence of our country are not negotiable.
That was NBC's Ryan Nobles with that report. Let's now bring in Democratic Congressman Brendan Boyle of Pennsylvania. He is the ranking member of the House Budget Committee. Congressman, good to see you this morning. So let's talk about the budget. Let's talk about keep funding the government and keeping it open. Give us your assessment of how this process played out with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, both throwing 11th hour curveballs, and talk to us about the deal that we all ended up with.
Yeah, well, good to be with you. We had a four-party agreement, by which I mean the leaders of the House Democratic Caucus, House Republicans, Senate Democrats, Senate Republicans. They announced this deal late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. And then Elon Musk took to his social media platform and issued tweet after tweet over the course of about 6 hours. And that backed Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, at least for now. That forced him to back down. So that is not, in terms of process, that is not the way that it should work. The good news, though, is that when they went to Plan B, which was a Republican-only approach supported by Donald Trump, 38 House Republicans joined Democrats to vote against that. So finally, we got a very bare-bones continuing resolution passed late afternoon on Friday to avoid a government shutdown. So in the end, it was a messy process and perhaps a sign that things will likely be chaotic when Donald Trump is president. But I will also take a hopeful note. The fact that so many House Republicans were able to stand up to what Donald Trump wanted does show that there is perhaps some independence there still.
So, Congressman, what does this suggest to you about what Donald Trump can actually get done this year? I mean, we just over the course of the weekend, right? He said he wants it to be the biggest first day, the biggest first week, the biggest first 100 days of any presidency. Some of what he wants to do, he can do himself. Some of the tariff side of things he can do through executive order, but other stuff he would need Congress for, extending the tax cuts if he wants to do a big immigration bill, for example. Does what you've seen over the last couple of weeks give you some sense of how much of his agenda Donald Trump is actually going to be able to enact this year?
Yeah, so you're looking at it the right. I think you're looking at it the right way, separating those things that Trump can do by himself by executive order versus those things where he needs Congress. when it comes to those things where he needs Congress, I think he's going to have a real problem. We saw the last 2 years, House Republicans were badly divided. I mean, 2 years ago, it took them 4 days and 15 rounds of voting just to elect their own guy speaker, only to vote him out 9 months later. And then we fast forward 2 years of this past week, which was equally as confusing and chaotic. From January 20th on, the Republican lead in the House, or the majority, will only be 217 to 215. They'll have no margin for error. So I think they'll have a very tough time getting anything of substance done without Democratic support. Where my concerns lie really are on the executive actions that Donald Trump can take as president and where Congress has a limited role.
Hi, Representative Boyle. It's Molly John Fast. Hi. I'm wondering if you could talk about this Trump surprise of raising the debt ceiling. That seemed to come out of nowhere. Is that something you think will be a legislative priority for him? And also, is that even feasible?
Yeah, well, good to be with you, Molly. And as I think you know, I'm the author of the Debt Ceiling Reform Act. I have been fighting for almost a decade now to permanently reform the debt ceiling and end this perennial dysfunction and crisis that we face over the debt ceiling. And I'm sincerely willing to work with anyone on either side of the aisle who wants to achieve that. What I don't want to do, and I don't support, is preemptively raising the debt ceiling by $4.5 trillion just so Donald Trump can give another round of tax cuts, most of which favor the richest 1% of Americans.
Brendan Boyle, Democrat of Pennsylvania, as ever. Thank you so much for joining the conversation this morning.
Thank you.